Okay, spoiler warning. You may want to get off this video if you have not seen this episode. 2 seconds to leave. Okay, now this episode is has a little bit more going on. I mean, as you would expect, and right in like within the first like what 10 minutes or so. I mean, like when when Green Arrow and Flash go to meet go meet Savage. He ghosted. Like he saw himself, running as he was on his way to the meeting. He was like, "Uh oh, what does that mean?" That means that probably something really crazy is gonna happen, and Barry runs back in time. Runs back in time. To fix things, or he gets a second chance to fix things, like he did in last season of The Flash, when things went wrong and a tidal wave was coming at Central City, and then he just zoned back back in the past. So before we get there, Oliver goes to try to figure out, okay, is this, kid my son, with his old, the girl that that he had a fling with like 10 years ago, Samantha, and so I wasn't expecting him to really talk to her until near the end of the episode. I thought he was just gonna spy on her, in the car and just drive away, like. But he confronts her. Well, not confronts her, but he runs into her. They talk for a minute, and he said, yeah, so like he's about like 9 years old, and we had her thing 10 years ago, and then she throws him off by saying that she met someone like 2 months after she left Starling City, and of course Oliver doesn't buy that, so he has a sample of that William, the boy William's hair, and gets a DNA test, and he has Barry take the test, and then Oliver Queen, you are the father, and that goes completely south because because for one, he's hiding it from Felicity. I mean, I get it. He wants to get all the facts first and then tell her. So she showed up at a bad time, right when he found out, and he wanted, and it just obliterated, like right before, right as soon as he found out, and we think that Kendra is ready to take on, Vandal Savage, and her and Carter are ready to take, just take him on head on. We're ready to do this. We're ready to do, we're gonna make it happen. We have the game plan. We're gonna give him the element of surprise, and yeah, and and their attempt to bring him down goes completely south. He manages to kill Kendra and Carter, and they before I get to that, I mean, like, is it me or does Vandal Savage's weapon looks like Loki's scepter? I mean, like, it looks like Loki's scepter. I mean, did anyone else think of that when they saw that? I mean, did anyone else think that? Like, man, you'll be hearing from Marvel's attorney pretty soon, DC. But yeah, I mean, after Vandal Savage kills Kendra and Carter, the Flash gets a hold of his scepter. Yeah, I'm calling it his scepter. I don't give a fuck. I can't remember the actual name that they called it, but we're gonna call it his scepter. Now, both him and Green Arrow are trying to hold it, and they're trying to obliterate him with it, and then somehow that goes south too, and then he kills the Green Arrow, and then Central City is being decimated as Barry's as the Flash is trying to outrun this big um, this nuclear blast from the scepter that the scepter set off, like, and he's running and he's running and he's running, and then he goes back in time, like right when they have that meeting, when he goes to and he saw himself, and then and that's when he goes to try to make things right. Okay, this didn't work the first time, so let's try something different, and then um, and that's when Kendra and Cisco have that talk, and then he's actually a much better, I guess a much better mentor for her than Carter right now, and he tells her to try to remember what happened, try to remember the past, and then she remembers how her and Carter were killed back in what ages ago, centuries ago, and then she found out, you know these two stones that can defeat that can defeat them, and so they get a hold of that, and then plan worked, boom. But the first time, Oliver wanted the team to stay behind, would just let him, the Flash, Hawkgirl, and Hawkman take care of it. But this time, he's coming at it full force, and then that works much better. And supposedly Vandal Savage is dead. Like his ashes are laying right there, and I don't know why the fuck they didn't sweep that shit up and and to put it in more safe, in good hands. Instead, they just leave it there for Malcolm Merlyn to pick up and scoop it up and put it in and what God knows what he's gonna do with his remains. Like, what the fuck? And let's talk about Mr. Merlyn. He is such a hypocrite. And then he threatens Oliver that he threatens Oliver, like, if his stubbornness gets puts Thea in danger or gets her killed, then he's coming for him. Said by the same man who set her up for failure to be to put her in the crosshairs of Ra's al Ghul last season. You remember that? I don't think Oliver did that. Hypocritical motherfucker. But yeah, it's this is this crossover overall. I mean, these two parters, part one and part two. I liked it. I definitely liked it. I mean, like, they threw in a couple more, iconic characters from the DC universe, and I really like that. And we'll see more of Hawkman and Hawkgirl in Legends of Tomorrow. And apparently, we have not seen the last of Vandal Savage, because in the trailer to the Legends of Tomorrow, all the side characters from Arrow and Flash, come together to go up against this guy. So I think it's safe to say that Malcolm Merlyn done fucked up, unless there's time travel involved here, which there is, and then that somehow he gets her somehow from that. But no, either that or Merlyn's about to fuck up. And so Oliver agrees to keep it a secret. So the only, outside of him and Barry, and Samantha, no one else really knows about him being a dad. I still would have had him tell Felicity about it. It's not. It's not like she's gonna kidnap the boy or anything like that. She's trustworthy. She knows he's Green Arrow, so what more do you need to keep from the woman? Seriously. But these part 1 and 2, I'd say it gets an 8 out of 1 to 10. Definitely 8 out of 1 to 10. Really liked it, and next week I think we get the mid-season finale for both shows, or at least The Flash. So that would be pretty cool to check out. So Leave your comments. Let me know what you thought of the this crossover, this season's crossover. I mean, did you enjoy it, or did you think last season was better? Let me know what you think. So if you liked my reaction, get those thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, hit subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out, y'all.